Hi guys, this is Aiden back, and I know I was told you guys I was going to do a bunch of X-Files videos. I'm going to get on that. I'm not going to do a separate one for each episode now because 3 have aired, so I figured I might as well just get all 3 of them out of the way in one video, and then I'll do separate videos for each of the next 3 as they air. Can't believe there's only 3 more left. But this is a surprise video because I didn't even think I would get into this. But my friend Will, who you may see later in this video, I'm not sure how this is going to work out. But he introduced me to Sword Art Online during a Dungeons & Dragons session. He showed me a lot of the first episode, and all my other friends have loved it. Gemma loves it, my friend Mia loves it, Erica loves it, a bunch of other people love it. But I hadn't seen it. So then I watched that first episode at Will's house, a lot of it, and then I was intrigued. So then after the session, when I went back home, I finished that episode, and then I got sucked into the hole of Netflix where I just couldn't stop watching it. Like, I finished the second episode, finished the third, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and then a 12th. All in one night. And it was... I didn't get much sleep that night, to be totally honest. But then the next night, by the way, what I cleared out was most of the Aincrad arc, which I'm reviewing right now, which I consider Season 1, but I'll get into that ideology in a second. And then the next night, I watched... well, not the night, but in the afternoon I watched episodes 13 and 14, so I finished the Aincrad arc. And then I watched 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So I cleared the Fairy Dance arc as well, and that was the same weekend. Which is what, so yeah, I finished SAO 1. So, yeah, and I also, at the time of recording this, I also finished SAO 2, but I will get into those 2 as well. Don't worry, there's going to be a bunch of videos for SAO coming up soon. So, in order to review SAO, I decided I would split it up into 4 parts, because there are 4 major arcs. The first one, I consider them all seasons to me, because they all have a beginning and ending, they all have a villain, they all have their own different things. Well, except for Mother Rosario, but I'll get into that in a second, because it did in a little video, a long time from now in that video, because it didn't need a villain. But yeah, I consider them all to be different arcs, because even they had different season finales, in a way, for all of them. Don't say that SAO has 2 seasons, because it doesn't. It has 4. Because in the end of this arc, by the way, spoiler alert, full spoilers. I can't stress that enough. Full spoilers. Full spoilers for all of SAO. I'm not gonna take easy on it, because I need to go into everything in order to properly review these shows. So, yeah, full spoilers if you haven't seen Sword Art Online. Just let me tell you right now that I enjoyed it, personally. I think it's a very well done show with some notable flaws that overall didn't detract from my enjoyment. So, if you haven't seen SAO yet, it's on Netflix, Crunchyroll, Hulu, wherever you can watch it. If you have like a streaming service of some sort, I'm sure it's on there. So just watch it, and then come back to the review and see if you agree with my opinions. Okay, so let's get into it. So what I consider to be Sword Art Online Season 1 is what's listed on Netflix as episodes 1 through 14, and which is otherwise known as the Aincrad arc. So the story, before I get into all that, I'll just start off with the story. I split up into 10 categories that I think would make a show like SAO a perfect show if they got all these categories perfect. And they didn't get all of them perfect, but they did their best. They got a lot of them perfect. Not a lot of them, just... I can't speak right now. They did well with a lot of them. In a lot of the categories, they did what they could, and some other things might not be entirely their fault, but some of them definitely are. So first off, the story is that in 2022, which is, I can't believe that's 6 years from now, wow. In 2022, a new VR MMORPG, virtual reality, massively multiplayer online role-playing game is released. And basically it's called Sword Art Online. And what the thing is, it's a whole world, it's on 100 levels, it's a castle, basically, the main part of it, and then there's also a land area. But then, after a bunch of big fans of those games log in, they find out later that day that they cannot log out. That option has been taken out of the game by the creator, Akihiko Kaiba. And he reveals himself to them after he summons all of them into like a center, like, you know, you can do that in Minecraft and servers and stuff. If you've ever seen one of those videos where in order to prank a bunch of people on a Minecraft server, they teleport them all into one area, that's what the creator did here in this scene. And he tells them this, and basically what they have to do is they have to beat the 100th floor of Aincrad, this big, expansive castle. There's a boss on each floor, and progressively they get harder and harder and harder. So in order to beat the game and be able to leave, they have to beat the 100th floor, which is... it's insane. It's like, consider Minecraft. You know, the boss level of Minecraft is defeating the Ender Dragon, right? Imagine the Ender Dragon times 1,000. That's exactly what the 100th level would be. And it's intimidating, and the characters, they're going to need to work hard and work together in order to be able to escape and get back to their real lives. So, let's get into the 10 categories that I lined up. The first is animation. And, by the way, all these categories are out of 10, so all of them are equal, so that it all adds up to like, of course, a grade, to a number out of 100, and then that number will translate to a grade, which I will say at the end of the video. For animation, I give it a 10 out of 10 because A1 Studios always does a really good job with their animation. I've seen some of their animation that they've done for other shows. They do a great job of like being sure that it's more personal on the characters when it needs to be, and when it needs to be grand, and showing all of the wide scope of SAO, of Aincrad and all that stuff. It does it perfectly. And yeah, I couldn't say that the animation is flawed in any way, because the effects for the fight scenes and everything, the fight scenes are always engaging, and they're always very fun to watch, especially the boss battles, but there are also some PvP battles, which are very fun to watch as well. But since I'm going full spoilers here, I'll say that the visuals for the scene where after Kirito and Asuna supposedly die, where they think, I guess, is heaven, that scene, the animation for that scene was gorgeous. It looked like a real sunset or something. It was amazing. The colors, my brain cannot comprehend that some people actually, like, drew this on a piece of paper. And then, of course, some effects were added when they put it in a computer, but I can't imagine that people actually just drew this stuff. It's crazy. It's mind-boggling. The colorists did a fantastic job. Whoever the colors were in A1 Studios, I don't know. I would have to look that up. But they did a great job, nonetheless. And now let's get into voice work, which I can only review the voice work for dubbed, because I did not watch subbed, because, of course, with SAO2 I had to put up with subbed, because that's all I had on Netflix. But, yeah, I really wanted to watch the dubbed, because when I watched it, it made me feel like I wasn't just, like, watching a foreign film or something, having to read subtitles. It actually felt like I was watching an American show, which is really good, because this doesn't feel very foreign to an American audience, as far as I know. But the voice work I gave a 9 out of 10 because, of course, a lot of it's amazing. Bryce Papenbrook did a fantastic job as Kirito in the dubbed version. But I can't review the sub version because I haven't seen it yet. I might watch it later eventually, but of course I'm gonna need to work on YouTube and then stop with the binge watching and, just get into, like, a normal life of, like, actually just doing schoolwork and, like, all the stuff that I need to do right now. But yeah, so for the dubbed, I give it 9 out of 10 because Bryce Papenbrook's great, the main cast is great, but just some of the sounds that they made while they were talking just kind of bugged me a little bit, because that's the only part of the show I felt felt even the tiniest bit foreign. It was like some of the noises that they made when they were, like, shocked or whatever, because I don't think, as far as I know, American shows don't do that stuff. That just kind of set me off a little bit. I just didn't like it that much, but I don't know, maybe people who watch this liked it, I don't know. Now let's get into the character development, which was a much weaker category for me, which I gave a 7 out of 10 because they didn't develop all the characters properly. And what I mean by this is that, of course, they developed Asuna, but they waited for a little while. And a lot of the characters weren't developed fully, especially Agile and Klein, and as I'm looking at it, Lisbeth and Silica, they didn't develop all these side characters that well. the only two characters that like stick out in my mind when I think about SAO, which actually I changed the wallpaper on my MacBook to an image of these two characters, Kirito and Asuna. Those are the only two characters that like really matter in the wide scope of things, which I think could have been fixed because in SAO 2, of course, we get to know them a little bit better, and we're supposed to care about this big group, but I didn't as much as I think I could have, because they didn't really develop all these side characters all that well, in order for them to form like a big team in ALO later. But yeah, that's just my flaw. Maybe you guys liked it more, but that was just what I thought about it. And then for the action, once again, as I said with the animation section, gorgeous, all the action looks fantastic, it looks well choreographed. No, of course it's not choreographed because it's just drawn, but it looks great. All the action looks fluid and it looks great, and the fight scenes are amazing, and yeah, action's great. Score, 10 out of 10. I can't remember the name of the person who did the score for the life of me. I'm really sorry. I really don't think that person who made the score would be watching this though, because oh my god, I'm just a 13-year-old making a YouTube video in his geek cave about an anime. But the score was fantastic. It was great, and yeah, all the songs are great. There's this one theme, I can't remember what it's called, but it just played a ton in SAO 1, seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's just played all the time whenever Kirito has a great moment. It's always played, especially when Kirito's in a fight or something. And then next, the theme. By this I mean like an opening theme and a closing theme. 10 out of 10, because the opening theme, of course, Crossing Field by Lisa, that's like a classic at this point. That's her best-known song, and she's played it at concerts and stuff and everything, and she also did some pretty good work for SAO 2, which I'll mention in the Season 4 review. But yeah, the theme song's great. The English translations are all different, so I don't know which one's correct or not. But I know that the song is well made itself, and it sounds good, and the opening theme credits and everything is great. And the closing theme's also pretty good too. I think that's one of the best closing themes. But of course, like I just said, SAO 2, there's one theme that I will get into later that is just, wow. Just, I cry every time I hear it. And for characters, 8 out of 10, because like I said, a lot of them weren't developed correctly. Yeah, a lot of them weren't developed correctly. I'm talking about Agile, Lisbeth, Klein, Silica. Those weren't developed all that well. But Yui, I didn't mention before. Yui, I liked a lot. Yui was a great character. And a lot of people said that they rushed the like father-daughter, mother relationship between Kirito, Asuna, and Yui. I don't really think so. Because they really did have a connection right away, and I felt like that was genuine with the characters, and I don't really think that was a flaw or at all to the show. I don't think it detracted from my enjoyment. And now let's get into the story. So I already told you what the plot was. I think it's a good story. It was really well done, but of course, 7 out of 10, because with all the side filler episodes, it felt like it went all over the place. Of course, it developed a main plot, and they stuck to that for the first 3. But then they went to Silica and Lisbeth, and Klein wasn't a side character, I don't think, and neither was Agile. But they introduced these side characters, and then they also had that story about the murder or something. That story was fun-ish. It was cool, but it didn't really add to the overall plot of the show. It just kind of bugged me a little bit. It didn't really add much to the overall span of things. Now, to the next category, love story. 8 out of 10, because they skipped over there's a lot of time jumps. They skipped over a lot of moments that I felt would have been good for developing Kirito and Asuna as two characters who are in love. Of course, they skipped over the wedding scene, which was actually in one of the light novels. That bugs me. I think it came with like the Blu-ray or something, but they did have a version of it. They did have that story, and they did have that scene in something, and it bugged me that they didn't use that. Because that would have been a really nice moment, especially for the fans. There are so many fans of them. And I'm one of them. I ship them. I'm being totally honest here. But yeah, they skipped over some moments. There are way too many time jumps. My friends really disagree with me on this one, but I really feel like they kind of just got way to the getting married point way too quickly. Like, I know it had been 2 years. I get it. It had been 2 years since they had met. But it still bugged me a little bit, because it felt like I had been watching, like, literally... How many episodes was that? That was like 8 or something episodes. So that was like maybe a little over 2 hours of me just watching them as characters together, and I feel like them getting married was a little too rushed from the viewer's point of view, but definitely not from the story point of view, for sure. And the finale! Oh, the finale! Great episode! Awesome. 10 out of 10. Great. Great episode. The ending scene was perfect. With Kirito waking up from the nerve gear and going to immediately look for Asuna. That was an amazing ending scene. And yeah, overall that's my thoughts on all these 10 categories for SAO. I might go into some more in depth later. But overall, the final score I tallied up to was 89 out of 100, which is the grade B+. So, SAO gets a B+. This isn't the lowest grade I think I've given something. I've given Jurassic World a lower grade than this, I'm sure. But yeah, it's a B+ because it was a very enjoyable show, but it had some notable flaws that detracted from it a tiny bit for me. So, yeah, let's just, I don't know if I'm gonna have segments for my friends, but if I do, then I'll add them in right here. So if it isn't, I might as well just edit this out. So until Season 2 review, guys, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And yeah, if you have an idea you want to share with me, if there's an anime you want to recommend, leave it in the description below, because now I like anime. So until next time, guys, adios amigos.